The Equal Rights Amendment.
For an Equal Rights Amendment.
The ERA.
Equal Rights Amendment.
ERA.
Gender Equality.
Equal Rights Amendment.
Hello and welcome to the ANA podcast, where we discuss current political drama. Today's topic is the Equal Rights Amendment. With renewed interest over the Equal Rights Amendment, there's been many debates over the legitimacy of the policies and implications that come with ratifying the ERA. Introduced in 1923, it proposed that equality under the law should not be denied or abridged by federal and state institutions based on sex.
Today, many people are questioning if the motivation of the amendment aligns with modern views of equality and legal responsibilities of women. This is more true for Virginia, where on January 15, 2020, Virginia decided to agree on the passage of the ERA, joining 37 other states that have already ratified the amendment. Having 38 states approve it allows the amendment to be deliberated and re-rendered according to the terms of the Constitution. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
So Alex, do you believe that the ERA is necessary in today's society?
Yeah, I think it's necessary. 4 in 10 women say that they face some form of discrimination in the workplace because of their gender or sex. So I think by passing the ERA, it'll create a broad defense for these women so that it prevents this type of discrimination from happening.
Don't you think it'll be better to have specific policies instead of having a law that's very encompassing and can shoot down other laws that already protect women in workplaces?
Well, if we compare it to the past, antitrust legislation were also broad in order to help smaller corporations from fighting against bigger corporations. So if you think about it in that regard, having it be more broad, gives them more power and more of an oomph than other smaller pieces of legislation would.
Although I do agree with you that these antitrust laws did help, I can't ignore the fact that some of these laws were used by big corporations to shut down unions. So by passing a law as broad as the ERA, we don't know how it will impact existing policies such as the draft or maternity leave.
While those are reasonable concerns, the Constitution doesn't have any restrictions in place that prevent women from being drafted. So it wouldn't be a far stretch for women to actually be drafted, and it's part of their duty as a citizen to fight for their country as well in times of war. Additionally, many jobs have paternity leave in place, which allow men to take time off work when they have children. So passing the ERA wouldn't actually necessarily remove maternity leave, as there's already that for men. So it's not an unequal right that they have.
Well, in my opinion, we won't actually know what will happen after we pass the ERA due to the fact that it is incredibly vague and broad. On the topic of the passability of the ERA, I actually don't believe that it can be passed due to the fact that it's already passed its deadline in 1982, and also because since 1982, some states have already changed their decision regarding the ERA.
Although it is true that the amendment is past due, the deadline can be extended so it can actually be approved by Congress once again. That states cannot rescind the ratification of an amendment, so the states that have actually done this for the ERA is considered not valid.
So what precedents has shown that states cannot rescind their ratification of the ERA?
While in ratifying the 15th Amendment, New York actually rescinded their ratification, but they were still included on the list of states that ratified it in 1868.
So even though there is precedence for the ratification of the ERA, I don't personally think that in today's political schism, it is possible for a government that is divided between Democrats and Republicans to be able to actually pass the ERA.
While I acknowledge that today's society is more polarized than it's ever been, Kevin McCarthy's reach across the aisle to prevent a government shutdown has shown that at least some Republicans and some Democrats can cooperate in order to pass legislation.
Hello, my name is Alan. I am the host of the show, and I am here to thank you for watching through our podcast. Before we end, I would just like to thank our sponsor, Ms. Oberndorfer, for letting us indulge in this opportunity to talk about the ERA. This is the ANA podcast, and I'll see you next time on the next episode of ANA.